Good morning, everybody. Very happy to see you here. Actually, today is my last lecture in this particular series. So this evening I will be flying back to Sri Lanka. And I have had 4 lectures. This is the 4th one this time here. And the topic, as your secretary, Brother Leslie, announced, the topic is how to live a happy and successful life. So it's a matter of happiness, actually. But now I just wonder whether I should change the topic, Mr. Leslie, because in yourself I found this book, Joy at Last to Know There is No Happiness in the World. It is not a small fellow, Venerable Ajahn Brahmavanso is saying that. No happiness. So how can I talk about happiness? So either should change the topic or just cancel the talk. What should we do? What do you prefer? Cancelling? No. Okay. Change the topic? Well, change the topic does not necessary. It's not necessary because the topic Venerable Brahmavanso says has a way out, has a possible way out for me. He's saying, joy at last to know there is no happiness in the world. So, there is no happiness in the world, that's true, but there is joy. Right? Joy at last to know there is no happiness in the world. So, we can talk about joyful life, how to live a joyful life and live successfully, isn't it? So, we should not withdraw. Continue, huh? Right. Yeah, joy and happiness. Maybe there is some difference. The joy is actually more mundane than happiness. When Buddhist monks talk about happiness, very often they focus on the nibbanic happiness, supramundane happiness. The present happiness that we are having, they wouldn't accept as real happiness. Right. I have an artist friend who used to come here. I have means I had. A few years ago he passed away, Mr. Jayasri Semage. He painted in Penang as well. Singapore, Mangala Vihara also he painted. This artist, when we were talking about happiness, he said, I can in one stroke make unhappy man a happy man. How come you? It's a miracle. Yes, artist's miracle. What did he do? We don't have a sort of word to do it. Right. He was painting. You know, the general, everybody knows this. Internet also, they have a human face like this, and then eyes, nose, and the mouth, unhappy mouth. Right? Like this. He says, one stroke, I wipe it, 10 stroke, like this. Happy face. So, unhappy face like this, happy face like this. I can in one stroke make happiness, unhappiness change. So that's artist's joy. Artists find joy in explaining it that way. Anyway, it really sums up our argument that there is joy. People can live joyfully in this world, right? By simple things. Because man, according to the Buddha, is born with lot of potential of living happily. Right? When he was talking about the living beings, the Buddha said, Sukha bahula manussanam vedyavanana. Sukha bahula, lot of happiness. Manussanam vedyavanana, those human beings who experience things, they experience more joy than happiness. More joy than unhappiness. Is that true? Now you live in this blessed country, Malaysia, wonderfully. So in this country when you live, your day-to-day experiences, think of it. This morning you got up, sorrowfully or happily? You are waking up was rather joyful, isn't it? You were not crying while you are getting up. "Oh, you another unhappy day." Is that so? No, no. You were thinking another promising day. It brings a lot of promise to me. Right? Malaysia, you can do many things. Children can learn very well. Any language you like to learn, English, Malay. If you want to learn Bhasha, Indonesia is also possible. Right? And various languages possible. Can learn Pali, Sanskrit, Hindi. Right. And many subjects, mathematics, physics, biology, what not. And after learning, unlike in the Sri Lanka, jobs come after you. You don't go after jobs. That's what Venerable Yeoh, when I was teaching in Penang, told me. Unlike in Sri Lanka, in this country, job after man, not man after job. He was talking about the success of Malaysia. Right? So, why should you, get up with tears in your eyes? Happily, you can get up. Happily, you can start the day. Food, not scarce, right? There are so many food stalls around. Right? 2-3 days ago, Brother Leslie took me a big round, showing me around. You compare the number of other shops with food stalls, hotels, restaurants. So much to eat. Multiple choice. All right. Anything you like to eat. American breakfast, British breakfast, Malay breakfast, anything. So, the Buddha is correct. In most part of the world, not entire world, because there are some places people are suffering, but generally the Buddha says, Sukha Bahula. Manusana, Bahula means plenty. Plenty of happiness, plenty of joy. But how do you attain it? Even though there is plenty of joy, there are some people who don't have it. Lazy fellow will not enjoy. Now, even if you are born in Malaysia, right, you are very lazy. Don't study. Not willing to work. Not willing to have friends. Because one of the best ways to live happily is to have good friends. Pali term, Kalyana Mitta. Great friends, good friends, beneficial friends. And they enliven our life. They will make our life very happy. Right? The first thing when you see a friend, what would you do? Smile, isn't it? Between friends and friends, you smile. Unfriendly people, I don't know whether you smile. Unknown people, do you smile in Malaysia? Unknown people, no, huh? Right, but in Sri Lanka, it's different. I was teaching in Singapore for many years, and one group of my students who were learning Buddhist art for their degree told me that they like to go to Sri Lanka and see real art objects created by Sri Lankan Buddhists many thousand years ago. So they went. I was here. I was there in Singapore. I didn't go with them. Then after 15 days they come back. When they were entering the lecture room, they were full of smiles, and they said, "Sir, we have decided where we are going to be born in our next life." I asked, where? Sri Lanka. They're wonderful. You are in Singapore where everything is possible. Nothing is in short supply. Whatever you want, right, is there. And jobs are there, well paid, and food is always there. People are like, no, they told me. Sir, Sri Lankans, even if they are hungry, when they see us, smile. In Sri Lanka, wherever you go, there are smiling people. And there is nothing like smile. Smile is the sign of your good heart. Your happiness, your joy, everything symbolized in your beautiful smile. So we like to be born there. Right? It was only 15 days, right? If they were there for several months, they would know that how much suffering is there among poor people, right? Then they would think something else. They would think that some sort of welfare program to help Sri Lankans. But within the 15 days, they were really happy to meet village folk, right? Everywhere they go, all these ancient cities in ancient times, now not cities, right? In these ancient places, they saw the ramshackle things, all stupas, all Buddha images and many things they could see. And they meet people, local people, and sharing joy. It's wonderful, isn't it? Right? So happiness is a goal. When we, as human beings, we must have this goal setting. The main purpose of human life is to have a good goal. That's why you always, in your company, you have company, college, wherever, vision and mission. You must have a vision and a mission. Your vision is beneficial, good, then the mission is, accordingly you can frame the mission, can plan your mission, what you have to do. So people must have sort of goal orientation. We must have a goal, right? We can have several goals. As Buddhists, religiously we have our religious goal to attain enlightenment one day, right? That's one goal that you are going to have, is to come out of this sansaric journey and to enjoy the bliss of Nibbana, right? That's the final goal. But there are intermediate goals, interim goals are also there, right? That's why you are not always thinking of Nibbana, but you are thinking of various other goals, interim goals, right? You all have interim goals. What is your interim goal? What is the recent thing that you are going to achieve? Are you a student or a teacher? Teacher. So, teacher's goal. What can be teacher's goal? Any other teachers here? You are a teacher, right? No? Don't teach? Don't teach? I'm a teacher. Right. The teaching is fun. Isn't that? Teaching is fun. Because you share your wisdom. So teacher's plan is to share his wisdom with as many people as possible. Right? I have taught more than 50 years. So have a lot of students. And that really tells me, when I think of my vision, right, to have as many people as possible to share what I consider as wise decision, wisdom. Right? With your experience, you normally decide what has to be the human success. Right? So people have different goals. Happiness can have various definitions. So always the Buddha, whenever he talked to people, he wanted their terms defined, because he's a philosopher. Right? Buddha started the religion. Definitely, of course, you have Buddhist religion here. The same time, in India, they don't have sort of watertight compartments like religion and philosophy. In India, both go together. Any religion must have a philosophy also behind it. It's only in the West, in the Western universities, they have definitions for religion, definitions for philosophy, and they clash. Right? Recently, I read in Guardian, English newspaper, that there is a problem in Britain when they were making the school syllabus. In the philosophy, they have put more emphasis on religion, religious concepts. There is a thing called philosophy of religion, of course, but most important ingredients of philosophy they have set aside. So the Guardian had this argument. How come that you mix up philosophy with religion? That's their problem. They have different definitions for this both. But in India and Sri Lanka and Malaysia, you don't argue about like that. There is Buddhist philosophy and Buddhist religion. And when you have both together learned, absorbed, the subject what I teach emerges. Buddhist civilization. Any civilization must have a philosophy behind the civilization. People get civilized with a philosophy. Life philosophy. And religion is you to practice for your spiritual enrichment. Right? So, without that type of unnecessary complication, in the East we have religion and philosophy going together. So, we Buddhists have our goals, religious oriented and then social oriented. So, to live happily, the Buddha in fact is a very balanced teacher. So he tells us to live happily what we really want. He identifies. Even his lay follower, Anathapindika, identified. I told you in my lecture I had on economics that day, that Anathapindika's aim one was to become affluent in the proper justifiable way. Not unjustifiable way. You can become rich very soon if you start a crafty business. If you are dishonest. Dishonest people get rich very soon. But their conscience blames them. They know that they have not done the correct thing, not justifiable thing. Right? Therefore, we should work according to our philosophy. Right? So, behind economics, there is philosophy. That's why the other day I talked on Buddhist philosophy of economics. That's a philosophy, right? So, when people are, the Buddha says, when people have enough to survive, not unnecessary hoarding, right? Enough, right? You must have. You become happy. So, balance your economy. Right? And the other thing is that sociologically, we are living in a social frame. So, humans, according to Buddhism and according to Greek philosophy also, human beings are born to live a corporate life. We helping each other. Right? You can't live, you are, as the English statement goes, you are not an island. No man is an island. Island has no connection with the mainland. But that sort of life is suffering. Only if you are taking a special retreat, you are very, very keen to achieve enlightenment very soon, you may perhaps enjoy life without any companion. But Buddha says, when you find a companion worth living with, worth traveling with, worth having association, right, make him your lifelong companion. The Buddha says, when you have a good friend, never leave that person. Friendship is, one day Venerable Ananda, the Buddha's Dhamma treasurer, happened to approach the Buddha and said, Venerable sir, very often I hear you are talking about friendship. So, if I say that half of your discipline, half of Buddhism is friendship, am I correct? Buddha said, no, Ananda. You shouldn't say half. Complete, full of my religion, my discipline is depending on friendship. Right? Entire program of our religious enlightenment, Buddha says, depends on friendship. Right? So to live happily, we must have good friends, good companions. Sometimes your friend is at home, because Buddha says, at home your best friend, unparalleled friendship you get from your best friend. Who? Can anyone say? Best friend in your home, who is it? Imagine you are children, you are a child. Who was the best friend you had? The Buddha says, who? Any guess? Huh? At home. You have not? And that you have forgotten your child days. When you were a child, you had one. The Buddha says, no one else other than your mommy. Yeah. Mata mittang sake gare. Sake gare means your own home. Mittang, friend. The friend in your own home is mother. Mother. Right? So mother's friendship. Friendship means love. Huh? Love. Positive relationship. The mother radiates positive love every time when the child is seen. Right? The day that your baby was born, right? You really become absolutely joyful. It doesn't preclude the friendship of father, right? Father's love is also absolutely essential and perfect love fathers have. But the mother is special because in mother's body, this child was grown for 9 months in her own body. Even though we love our children, we couldn't do that. In our stomach, our womb, we don't have womb, our belly, right? Inside our... Sometimes you may have a problem of worms. That is the life we can give birth to. Otherwise, it's not possible for us to have a child. But mother is very lucky, blessed in that way. The new life, new human life, not a worm's life, new human life comes in women's body. So great thing, isn't it? Miracle. Right? You may now secretly arguing, without father's contribution we couldn't perform that miracle. Yes, true. Right? Man is behind. Right? That's why men also really love their children. Right. So Buddha says, Mata mittang sake gare. In your own home you have a friend. Mother. But you have to leave mother at one time. That's why we forget. After marriage, sometimes even without a marriage also, we have to live separate. Gradually people forget their parents. That's why there are open ages. Right? Old age places, people, all folk homes, right? That's why all folk homes, because we tend to forget. Even though the love we got was immeasurable, unparalleled. No one can, equal that love to us. But there is another one, the Buddha says, when you are married and when you are gone out of your home, there is another one. Who is? Another one. Are you married? No? Not? Huh? Buddha says, Bharyava Paramasaka. After your marriage, your wife, the best friend. Isn't that so? Wife, her life now has become part of husband's life. You live together. All your aspirations, all your life goals become mixed. Right? So you always discuss, how shall we, do this? You think you want a son. Husband wants a daughter. Right? Would you fight? No. You discuss and agree upon. Say, wife may say, this time a daughter, next time a son. Compromise. Right? Like that, you come to compromise. Father always say, no matter. Right? No matter. Let it be son or a daughter. He makes the compromise. He will not keep on arguing, no, produce only a daughter. Right? So you discuss, come to compromise, live happily. So husband and wife, That's why Buddha says, husband has the best friend in his wife. Shouldn't forget that. If you forget that, then of course you quarrel and separate. That's disastrous. But from mother you don't separate like that. Impossible, because it's biologically your friend. Biological friendship. But this one is not biological. But when the children are born, it's in a way it's biological. You have produced a new life into the world together. Right? So when you look at your daughter, look at your son, you consider, separation is not nice. It's our product, this boy. Not her product, not my product. Our. Right? So life becomes very joyful when you live a very successful married life. So Buddha has given a lot of instruction on how to make a married life happy. Right? So very often you read about these things in Dhamma books. Buddha says that our life is actually a sort of a network type. In Sigalovada Sutta, you have 6 directions the Buddha has told us. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, your religious masters, right? 6 directions we have. All are important. All give us different ways, their support, their help. Without those help, a life... Now, even Buddha has not forgotten the people working under you, your workforce. They take the weight of yours. Right? Your business is successful just because you have a good workforce with you. They work for you honestly. If they start pilfering your things and mixing your stuff with making your products unpopular in society like that, pilfering and mixing, no good. So they give as much labor that they could give you, and your duty is to pay them well, give them rest, look after them in disaster, right? Like that. So that's another way you can be happy, right? The family relationship, your best friend, mother and wife, right? Why Buddha is not speaking about husband and father? Because mostly his audience, it's natural. In most of the parts in the world, the religious audience is mainly comprised of men. Now, in Buddhist temples, of course, there are a lot of females. You go to Sri Lanka, Dhamma Hall is full of ladies. But you have to talk to, address to male folk also. Right? So Buddha had a lot of audience from male folk, unlike today. So Buddha told them, your best friend is mother and wife. When the ladies are there, Buddha would definitely speak of husband and father. Like that. The happiness. Right? You take, by doing your social duties, family duties, and your economy well balanced. So, when I talk like this, somebody challenged me to saying that isn't your religion is talking about suffering as the first truth? Right? Everything is suffering. So aren't the Buddhists are a miserable lot? Always thinking about suffering. So I had to answer. What do you think? Are we a miserable lot? Are you miserable? Thinking always about suffering. No. That word suffering is a wrong translation. Right? Dhamma teachers might have already explained it to you. That is unsatisfactoriness of constantly changing situation in the world. Right? everything is impermanent, and impermanence, of course, is a blessing. If things were permanent, it would have been absolute nonsense, right? Because now, let's hope we can perform magic. Can I make you all permanent in this hall? What a joke it could be. Everyone in Malaysia would come to see you. Like stone images. Cannot go home, cannot move, cannot even know that you have become stoned. Your mind is also permanent. Impossible, isn't it? So this impermanence is, in a way, is a blessing. But unfortunate thing is that brings unhappiness to us when our enjoyment, joy, happiness becomes changed. So there is unsatisfactoriness. Our happiness, right, either can make us bored. Right now, when you came into the hall and when you sat on the chairs are very comfortable, very happy. But when I talk another 15 minutes, you may think, why can't this fellow stop his nonsense? We have to stand up and enjoy the joy of standing up. Right? You first enjoy the joy of sitting on the chair. Comfortable, nice chairs. But after 45 minutes, what happened? You complain about unhappiness of having to sit constantly without being able to stand up. When you are sitting too long, right? So it's lucky that you can stand up also. Lucky that you can go home. If you are permanent in the temple, right? This hall cannot be used for any other purpose because there are stone statues. You have become terrible, isn't it? So, in a way, impermanence is good because we can change unhappy things to happy things. And that happy things also change because happiness can become a bore. It will be boring if you have constant happiness. Now you are going to see a sort of beautiful dance. And you are watching it. And it goes for 9 hours, 10 hours. Dancing, dancing, dancing. Isn't that going to be very upsetting? Right? That's why they change scenes. First they show you the Malaysian dance. Then another team from Indonesia now perform before you. Otherwise, you think, Malaysian dance all the time. 10 hours of Malaysian dance. No. So, in a way, this anicca is providing us the opportunity to change things. Changing is also nice. But that leads to unsatisfactoriness because constant change from happiness to unhappiness, right? Because the Buddha has seen that the world has happiness and unhappiness changing constantly from labhu, alabhu, eightfold dhammas, from labha to alabha. Today you get a lot of profit, tomorrow loss. Labhu, alabhu. Gain and losing. Right? Ayaso, yasoche. Today you are respected. Lot of fame. Think of your politicians. Sometimes you consider a particular politician like a person who is a creator God. He created our country and he made everything successful, beautiful. What a nice man. After some time, your image of him change. What a curse this man. It happened to politicians. He has yasa, that is fame, for several decades. And then his fame decays. People start hating him also sometimes. In some countries, some politicians had that happening to them. Think of Hitler. What happened to him? Mussolini, right? You read them in the history books. I'm not going to give examples from the modern world. I have to go home. When I go home, they will come to know that I have criticized the local politicians, Sri Lankan politicians. We had Sri Lankan political gods. Later, there was a time that people kicked them off. Ayaso, yaso. Right? You have ill fame and then the fame. Change. Abo, alabo, ayaso, yaso. Then ninda, pasansa. Sometimes people look at you and disgrace you by making very painful comments. And then Buddha says, the same person who had been so disgracefully addressing, again all of a sudden, people, everybody appreciate you. Our forgotten gem, they may say. So, that also keeps on changing. Ninda pasansa. Then sukhancha dukkhang. Happiness and unhappiness. So, this is 8 things that change. So, we have to satisfy ourselves while facing all this, right? To have courage to take this. But there will be a day that you will be unhappy with the entire scene. Atta loka dhamma, you find one day very unhappy. You like to sort of change from mundane existence to supramundane situation. We don't call it existence either. It's neither existence nor non-existence. We don't have the words to describe. That's why Buddha says that it's very difficult to sort of use language to describe what is supramundane. But mundane things we have our language to call. Right? So when we live a mundane life, human life, you have to accept these 8 things. Right? Buddha says you should not tremble. You should not worry. You have to make your mind accepting not only the beautiful 4, but the unhappiness 4. And the 4 that makes you unhappy. Labho, alabho, labha you really like. Labha, profit, great. But you have to make your mind to accept labha also when it comes. Ayasa, yasa, fame and ill fame. You have to make your mind ready to accept both. Because you have to know that this is the nature. So you get used to the nature of the 8-fold ways. But then Buddha doesn't say that you accept them without trying to manipulate the situation. You yourself can contribute to this. You don't take passively. You are not going to be passive sufferers. Right? Within this existence, there is something that we also can do. Right? So, Buddha says that you have to have uttana sampada. The wealth of this special skill of being able to struggle positively and make things good for you. Right? That's why Buddha, in my economic talk, I told you that Buddha said, Dalidyang bhikkave dukkhang lokasmin. He says, the monks, poverty is suffering in this world. You have to change it. Right? But to change that, you should not make anything that goes against your conscience. Right? By trying to change the situation, you shouldn't do anything that would later you regret. Entire life you have to consider, very successful was my life. That was Anathapindika's way. Anathapindika said to the Buddha that one day, Venerable sir, all I had as my life goals, my vision, I have achieved without any criminal activity. Not resorting to crime, not resorting to dirty acts. I have been very clean in my conduct. Right? But there were times that he was failing. Once he happened to sort of give everything that he has without thinking of his own future. So he became very poor. But fortunately, right, there was a divinity, sort of goddess, right? Someone didn't go on former relations of Anathapindika, born as a spirit. That spirit saw Anathapindika is getting very poor, cannot now make ends meet. So she went, according to the story, she went to the people who had borrowed money and not paid to Anathapindika. Normally it's the way in the world. People borrow and not pay. So there had been a lot of people who had not paid the money that they borrowed from Anathapindika. So she went and reminded them, have you forgotten that you are indebted to Anathapindika? Please pay back, he is now in difficulty. That way people brought a lot of money to him, because he had given a lot of money on credit. So when this money came, he became again powerful to do certain things. And the Buddha said, be careful, watchful, you have to balance your economy. Samajivikata, balanced life. Just because you have a sort of windfall of money today, you don't think that that's the end of the world, nothing will happen. Now you are rich and enjoy as anything. No. Tomorrow something definitely will change the situation. The government will decide to confiscate all your money. Buddha says that's possible. Even in India it was possible those days. Raja Haranti, the king might take what you have. King can confiscate. Today, even in democratic countries, there is some power with the government. That government can, charge you for something and take all your thing, confiscating your all things and make you poor. Impossible, not impossible, possible. So Buddha says, be careful, right? Plan your economy, even if you have a windfall, right? Plan your economy well, nicely, wisely, right? Because apadasu bhavishyati, there can be a terrible disaster on your way. To face a disaster, that's why people themselves have created this thing called insurance. Now you get your business insured. So the disaster day, insurance company will come to help you, right? Your motor car insured. Even life is insured, isn't it? So Anathapindika was told, right, to balance. Therefore, thereafter he was okay. So balanced life, right, is the key of success. Should not waste. When you give also, you have to think twice, right? It has to be a meaningful giving, right? That's why in the Bible it says that you give a person not a fish, right? But make him fish every day. Right? When I say that, it came a nice story to my mind. I read it in Utusan Consumer, the newspaper you have in Malaysia some time back, about 10 years ago. I happened to, when I was in Singapore, I happened to get this Utusan Consumer. And in that there is a story about good living. One day in Malaysia, a Malaysian person, right, he was a fisherman. He had this boat, a sort of unsophisticated boat, not the modern, you spend 1 month in the sea and you bring a lot of fish, not like that. Every day you take this boat and go to fishing. And an Englishman visitor saw this fisherman resting in his yacht. Having done all his day's fishing, it was only 10 o'clock in the morning. Then he was sleeping. The Englishman thought, what a lazy Malaysian, right? He went to him and said, look here, you have a fishing boat, yacht, can take it to sea and fish. You are sleeping in that. The person said, well, in the morning I have done it. I have fished. And then what did you do? I sent fish home. My wife will make a nice curry for me to enjoy lunchtime. And the rest I sold and have money in my pocket. Enough money to make me live for at least 1 week. I can, with that money, I have enough money now in my pocket. So I sleep. Other one said, you are an idiot, man. You have the boat, you have time, you have leisure, you have health and everything. Go to the sea. Fish more. Then he asked, why I should fish more? Then Englishman said, you can sell them and put the money in the bank. Why should I put that much money in the bank? Because then you can buy a second boat. I can't ride 2 boats. No, you can employ someone under you. He will bring money in the evening every day to you. Then what shall I do? Anything more? Yes. With that money you can buy a 3rd boat. And you can buy a 4th boat, 5th boat, 6th boat. In a day you will have lot of boats. And lot of money will come to you. Then what can I do? The Englishman said, then you can very happily sleep. Because you have a group of people to work under you. Money is coming. You can sleep, enjoy. That's what I am doing right now. Having done all my work, I am resting. The day that you call me sort of leader of a fleet and having so many people working under me, I will have a lot of headache. I can't sleep like this. Today, very simply, I enjoy my life. And it will take 15 years to get 15 more votes. So all these 15 years, I will have to work hard, supervise, do all these things. But now, no trouble, nothing. My wife is happy at home, cooking food for me, and I fish every morning, and afternoon I can sleep. I enjoy life. Don't try to make my life complicated. So that's the philosophy, right? I don't think that I am not recommending exactly what the fisherman did, right? That it's no harm having a second boat, but to wait for 15 years to have some psychological and physical rest is too much. That's what Englishman thought. This fellow must work very hard for 15 years to have a good nap. But that man is already having it, simply enjoying. So it depends on how you define your happiness, your joy, your progress. Is that so? Right. So as Buddhists, we have to balance our mundane happiness and supramundane goals of happiness we have. Right. That's why this Venerable says joy. Right. Joy and happiness are 2 different things. Right. But joy is more mundane, in my point of view. Right. Happiness is supramundane. And that's why Bhante says no happiness in the world. That means super happiness you get when you are nibbanized, right? So Buddha was very happy the day that he was enlightened. That's what his life goal from the time that he was with Buddha Dipankara. And he said, Buddhuhang Bodha. His life goal he set for other people also. Buddhuhang Bodhaiswami. I will attain enlightenment and I'll make other people also enlightened. So he was not selfish. He didn't think the life is actually a sort of thing that just for himself. He wanted to help others. Right? He was assuming that he is friend of everyone. In the world, everyone, right? You should see there is no enmity. That's why in Karaniya Metta Sutta you chant. You say, Uddang adocha tiriyancha asambadang averang asapattang. From the top, from the bottom, from the directions, I have no enmity. Uddang adocha tiriyancha. across the world, wherever I go, I don't see enmity against me. I see friendship, right? That's why my Singapore students appreciated smile that they were getting. People smiling, not laughing at. You can do two things. You can laugh at people and smile with people. What is better? Laughing at is no good, isn't it? It's cruel. Smile is very friendly, so every time you must think of radiating your friendship, love, kindness. Anger is suffering, right? Some people without any reason can get angry, right? But friendliness makes you happy and others happy. Anger makes others unhappy, definitely, right? You may think you are becoming happy by becoming angry. No, not so, right? Physical changes the doctors have found out, right? When you are angry, when you hate, hatred is terrible. When you have hatred, when you have anger, your physical health deteriorates. Physical health deteriorates. When you are happy, when you are radiating your love, friendship to everybody, you become healthy. I told you the other day that one doctor, Bernard Siegel, right, he found that certain cancers are caused by your hatred. Therefore, love, kindness makes not only you happy, it makes you healthy. It makes you healthy. Your business can be very successful when you have loving kindness as your business policy. When people come to the shop, you can smile with them, greet them, right? Greet them. When you greet them and you are smiling, he will remember your shop, a friendly place to frequent, right? Then you become successful. And when you know that your customers love you, what sort of happiness you get? Great happiness, isn't it? Right? Customers love you. When you are a teacher, you must love your students. When students love a teacher, teacher thinks that my life is very successful. I have loving students. Students love that. There are cases that they hate. Students hate the master teacher. There are. Right? But the good, kind teacher, right, can influence the character of the person until his death. Right? You had the kind teacher in the school, you would never forget him. Your entire life, right? You remember the love you got from him and the instructions you got from him. Right? The loving instructions that the teacher gives to you remains in your heart forever and with the name of the teacher, right? We all have such good teachers and bad teachers as well. Bad teachers have hatred in their mind. The students, they hate. They don't wish them to excel in life. But when you wish other people should excel, should achieve life success, it's wonderful. So, never think that samsara is always suffering, therefore we should never be happy. Be happy. Face people with beautiful smile. Talk to them kindly. Help them to come up in life. Be always developing your loving kindness, your metta in your mind. Love. In many religions it is taught by the masters, the founders of religion. They like to become people happy. So they taught. In Bible, you might have heard, the Christians are taught, right? Love your neighbor. So Buddha, metta to everyone. Buddha not only metta, he has 4 qualities to make your life happy. Metta, karuna, mudita and upekha. Right? You know all these things because you have been listeners of Dhamma here for many years. So monks might have told you, in addition to love, because love is actually not costing you anything. It's a mental attitude. You can practice You can always sit cross-legged and think, I radiate love to everybody in Malaysia. Let all Malaysians be happy, healthy, wealthy, and all these things. And our relations who are in Indonesia, who are in Thailand, Cambodia, may them also be happy, right? Let all Chinese be happy, Taiwanese be happy. You can do that. That doesn't cost you any money. It's just a mental thing. But that will not make hungry people eat something. You radiate love to a hungry man, it won't benefit him the way you give him something to eat. Right? So, for that you need compassion, karuna. So, love itself will not be sufficient. It's only a mental attitude. It won't help him physically. So, you have karuna, compassion. You understand that this man is hungry. So, the way you can help, you help him to have something to eat, right? And then when he is happy, he may forget to say thank you. He may just walk away. But you can be happy. Even though he doesn't say thank you, you can be happy thinking that because I gave him this half a loaf, he is now quench his hunger and happily going home. I have helped him. So that is mudita. You enjoy other people's happiness created by you. But then Buddha knows that even then people may expect a word of thank you. He forgot to say thank you and it will make you a bit unpleasant. So Buddha adds another quality, upekha. Upekha is not to get unhappy about that person being not grateful. His ingratitude, his ingratefulness, right? You have to tolerate. Right? There is a French story, a novel, right, where they talk of a millionaire who was living in an area where there were a lot of slums, suffering poor people. So he was having a lot of money. He thought, I should, help these people. He not only provided them food, he arranged some industrial projects for these people to work and earn money. So owing to this developmental program, the village became comparatively rich. People were now getting enough money to meet their needs. So successful village. And one day, these people, village people, got together and they were enjoying their success. They organized a party. People were singing, dancing and everything. So from his palace, palatial house, multi-storied, looking down, villagers are having a party. Those days they were not having parties, they didn't enjoy life, but now very happily enjoying. He felt jealous. These people are not coming to thank me. Why they didn't invite me to the party? They have forgotten. They think that all this success was created by them. Felt jealous. So the moral of the story is that even though you don't get the word thank you and appreciate, you don't get the invitation, you yourself be happy. This is everything. This is right. Done by me. My contribution to their life, they are happy. So, you have your mudita and upekha, with good qualities. Right? So, in the world, we should not, worry about people not thanking us, people not appreciating us. We have done our duty. Right? The Buddha says, therefore, not only first two qualities, metta karuna, third and fourth also you must cultivate. Mudita and upekha. Right? So this brings us to 5 minutes past 11. So if you have any questions, right, ask me. If I don't know the answer, Leslie will answer. Okay, if there is no...
So if there are no questions, we'll end this morning session. And on behalf of the Buddhist Mahavihara, let me take this opportunity to thank Professor Chandima for sharing his knowledge with us for these past 2 weeks. Over 4 days he was here, last Friday and Sunday, and previous Friday and today. So Professor, on behalf of Buddhist Mahavira, thank you so much for taking time off from your busy teaching schedule in Sri Lanka, in the universities there. He lectures in 2 universities in Sri Lanka. And he's a busy grandfather as well. So, so I'm sure you're very happy to get back home, but don't be surprised. We'll send you another invitation to come soon. Because I think Naikamru Chief Monk wants you to come back soon. So with that, Professor, hope to see you again. Have a safe journey back and wish you all the best and success in Sri Lanka. Sadhu.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Brother Leslie, and all of you, right, who looked after me for 2 weeks very well, give me nice food. And every time you ask me, how are you, feeling well or unhappy or happy, all sort of things, very, very much concerned. So I enjoyed my stay here. I must thank you all wholeheartedly, right? And with the hope of seeing you again, let me say goodbye. Goodbye.